Well, hello everyone. My name is Nick Wilson. I have no idea why Scott pulled me in. Maybe he was short of a speaker. I don't know. I'm just a normal guy who kind of does his stuff. Really, I'm I'm an army veteran. I spent 14 years in the British Army, which is where I picked up my spinal injury, and I also got post traumatic stress disorder from my time in there, during which period I deployed all over the globe to places such as Northern Ireland, Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Now, I have obviously mental illnesses, which I've been trying to deal with over the past decade, really. Um, and I attempted suicide back in 2016 and been battling suicidal thoughts over the past 18 months or so. But my physical disability really declined a lot over the past couple of years. And I ended up in a wheelchair in October last year. I have 7 prolapse discs in my spine, ranging from C3, 4, 5, 6, my neck to lumbar and down at the tail. So whilst I can still walk for short distances and short periods of time, usually about 10, 15 minutes or so, anything longer than that, then the pain becomes too much. So I use a powered wheelchair now to get around. And going from being a army soldier, very active, out and about doing things. I've raised over £125,000 for charities over the years by doing crazy challenges, from running a half marathon in Iraq, for example, to doing a 1,000 mile cycle ride 24 hours a day over a 5-day period down the west coast of Europe. Um, and I have always been a big person for getting involved in challenges and to push my boundaries and to push limits, because I believe that when we really push ourselves, that's where we find our strengths. That's where we really start living life, and really experiencing life, when we push ourselves and we get out there and we feel alive. And so I, as a kind of leader, within, not so much within business. I've done the mental health consultancy. I've run a men's mental health support group over the past 2 years. My first business when I left the army was a chauffeur company, and I turned it into a £250,000 business in 2 years. Um, but for me, it's all about purpose now, and really doing something that I'm passionate about. And so I'm now a professional public speaker, and I talk a lot about my transition into disability. I talk a lot about my mental illnesses, and my struggles I've had with suicidal thoughts. But I've kind of discovered or created this persona, which I now call the disabled adventurer. And with that, I take myself off on challenges. So last year, for example, I completed a 385-mile cycle ride from Margate to Land's End on a special recumbent trike. And so that was kind of my first one, with a support team, which was amazing. In June this year, I became the first disabled person to complete the National Ridgeway Trail in a powered wheelchair. Um, and yeah, we got powered wheelchairs to do things that they really shouldn't be able to do. And that was absolutely amazing. We managed to do it in 2 days. And I've begun creating videos of me getting about, doing things in the wheelchair, I've started creating accessibility videos whereby I go to venues and I show people what 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 they do, the venue does, what's on offer, how you can get around, promote the good things that are there. And it's kind of you've got the access able, which gives you all the stats in sheets and pictures and stuff like that. And whilst they say that a picture paints 1,000 words, well, a video tells the complete story. And so we've started doing this, working with local hospitals, and things like for children who have SEND needs, to be able to do a video from the car park to the children's wards so they can see in advance what the distance what it's going to be like and where they're going to be going. And when we video it, when you go into the children's wards, all the staff, they're going, hi, and all being really excited. So the children already feel like, it's something exciting to be going into rather than going into hospital. So we're really kind of starting to push the boundaries. A lot of the videos that I do, I've had special frame made up now where my camera gets put balanced on my wheelchair and it's all fixed down. So you get a lot of moving video shots, but more importantly, you get to see it from a wheelchair user's perspective. So then you get to know the height of a bar top or, a counters, or you can then actually see the size of a toilet. We use all kinds of different cameras, GoPros and stuff we put up in ceilings looking down. So where you can then actually see how much room that a wheelchair's got in a toilet. And I've got a videographer that works with me, so you can actually see how wide a door frame is. I mean, how many people actually know the width of their wheelchair in centimeters or inches? Because I haven't got a flipping clue. Whereas if I see a video of a chair going through a door, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I can do that. So I really kind of get out there more where we know that the stats show compared to physical activity groups for able-bodied people, attendances at activity groups for disabled people is 65% lower. We know that COVID has had a massive impact on this as well. And so I guess as a leader, I really want to be a role model to demonstrate that we can do more, so much more than what we think we can. It's usually our own limiting beliefs that prevent us from doing us or stop us from pushing our boundaries, especially if you're newly disabled, you know. And so working with groups to really push that, working with venues to improve accessibility, showing them they don't have to pay £4,000 for access able when they can stick a video up just to give people a general idea so they can plan their journey, they can have a better, more information of what's out there. And just really to try and encourage, inspire, and empower disabled people to get outside and I call it manage your mindset and manage your environment. So managing your mindset is addressing those limiting beliefs, addressing the self-confidence and those self-beliefs. I struggle a lot with my own confidence, um, and addressing that and facing it with that right mindset is a big challenge. But what I've managed to achieve from that, the friendships that I've made, the things that I've achieved, like, getting out and in nature, getting across the national trail, the people that I've met, and the things that I've done, that is what life is all about for me. It might take a long time to save up the money. I get that. It's not something that we might not be able to do tomorrow, next month, next year, but we will be able to achieve things at some point. And my next challenge, which I'm not going to tell you too much about now because I've got a launch coming out. I think it's the 25th of November. So keep an eye out on LinkedIn for this. All right. And it's really going to be pushing the boundaries, and it's about independence, true independence. And I've got a special engineering company who are designing me a special wheelchair for this challenge, whereby I'm going to try and complete the challenge by myself. That's all I'm going to say for now. But so keep an eye out for that the 21st of November. It's taking place next year. And we're also including virtual reality within that, so that we're going to create virtual reality experiences for people, like for kids who now have to learn how to use powered wheelchairs. They can have an experience this via VR. So they get to experience it before they actually get the chairs. For people who really haven't been able to get outside, for venues and businesses, again, when they're looking at accessibility, then we can go with VR headsets into their businesses and we can show them what it's like to be in a wheelchair and what it's like to try and access different things, all via VR and embracing technology. So if you up for funny videos of me nearly falling out my wheelchair and doing crazy stuff, then drop us a follow. If you really want to push yourselves and learn how to kind of push out yourselves that little bit more, to feel them more alive, to reduce the isolation and loneliness, which I really struggled with the past 18 months, really. Then I really do encourage you all to ask you questions that you've got for me this evening. Drop us a follow on LinkedIn, and yeah, keep an eye out for the launch of my next big challenge for next year. And just remember that you are all amazing, unique individuals, and every single one of you are loved, valued, and have all that you need to really live life and enjoy the best person that you possibly can be.